All right, folks. Now we've gotten to the part where you have gone to one of the many places that we have just talked about and you have found a new fan. You are in the midst of performing, or you're at an event, or you are on a website where you have shared your art and people are listening. What do we do now? Well, first of all, I need you to have a concise pitch prepared. Something that is unique, interesting, descriptive, accurate, and short. Let me tell you a story. For a very long time, people would ask me where I am from, and I would say, oh God, I don't know, it's complicated. Massachusetts, I guess. And they'd say, whereabouts? And I'd say, well, I guess I'm not really from Massachusetts because I grew up in Kentucky. It's so much, but I live in Portland now. And they'd be like, oh, okay, so wait, where do you live? And then I'd be like, well, technically. So it would be a long and boring conversation that nobody asked for or cared about. And then I learned that when people asked, where are you from? I could very simply just say, I was born in Kentucky, then I moved to Boston when I was 6. I went to Portland for college, now I live in LA. It's a long sentence, but it answers the whole question, and then it's over. Right? So it is not a matter of telling people that it's complicated. It's a matter of answering the question, right? There's my band. When people ask, okay, so what kind of music do you do? Or like, oh, so you're a kids band? Or, oh, so you're a comedy band? Yes, it's possible for me to say, okay, yes. So we do some songs that kids like, and then we do some songs that have swears in them, and then we do some songs that are kind of comedy, but it's really not that funny. And yes, I could talk about the things that my band isn't forever. I could talk about the things that people say about my band that aren't true forever. But instead what I say is like, we are a nerd folk I say we are nerd folk pop comedy duo. We do songs about cats, dinosaurs, and queer feelings. And if you like that kind of thing, check out our YouTube page. You've got to have a concise pitch for your music. You might tailor that, or your art. You might tailor that to whatever event you're going to or whatever website you're on. But I want you to have it concise, and I want you to have it short, and I want it to be interesting, and I want it to have a unique hook that makes people go, what? I need to find out more about that. So this is so important when you are finding a fan. If you think like, oh, well, I do poetry and I also do art, and that's so confusing and people will never understand. I do science and I do books. Just figure out a way to put it into a short sentence and have confidence in it. If you have confidence in it, other people will have confidence in it too. Practice your pitch and work in a joke. So if you need to know how people are going to connect with you next, okay? So if the connection is, hopefully, join my mailing list, let's work on a cool joke or a fun connection that you are going to have. So ideally, like, if you have figured out a way that you're going to grow your audience by playing at farmers markets, then you'll have a fun joke where at the end of every third song you say, and if you want to help me feed my cat, I just need you to text this phone number and I will give her a treat. I don't know. A joke that you will write, and you will help you something that is memorable, that your audience will be like, okay, yeah, that was really weird, whatever they just said, but very concise, and that will keep the whole relationship very positive and fun. The other thing that I need you to do is share your genuine self. Okay, so it is very tempting when you are out there trying to get people to like you to be the person that you think they want you to be. This is a story about that. So I went to a meeting once of all YouTube musicians, and when we went around and talked about what we shared on the internet and how we grew our audience. And there was a musician there, and she said that when she was growing her audience, she would share cover songs covers of popular songs. And the audience that she grew really liked the covers of popular songs. But when she came to start sharing original music, which is what she truly wanted to do, the audience no longer was there for it. The views were much, much lower, and the comments were negative, and people just weren't there for it. Because the audience she grew was based on what she thought they wanted, and those people who were there, who were her subscribers, were her fans, weren't actually the people who wanted the art she wanted to create. So when you are out there, putting yourself out there, performing shows, pitching yourself at events, pitching yourself on websites, making your weekly art, this needs to be your genuine art. This needs to be maybe not exactly the art you're going to crowdfund, but something that is very close to the mission statement of what you're making that we created way back in module 1, and it needs to be very close to your own heart, because these people need to be the very people that believe in you as an artist and believe in the art that you're making, okay? You can't just be doing this to be popular, because the being popular could possibly easier than making the genuine art, but it is not going to be, first of all, not going to be the art that gets you to crowdfund the art that comes straight from your heart, but it's also just not the kind of art that is crowdfunding worthy, because people can see right through that. And though they might watch it on the internet, they don't want to fund it because it doesn't matter. So, if the thing that you truly care about also happens to be insanely popular, that's wonderful. But it really truly has to matter to you. People can tell when something matters to you. It has to. So please share your genuine self all along the way. You don't have to share personal, intimate details of your life, but it has to be the stuff that matters. All right. When you are asking to get this audience that you have just met to come along with you, you want to have a single ask. We talked about this a little bit in the one-click section. So I recommend very much at a live event, whether you have a table set up, whether you are on a stage, to have a text to join email list option. You can also have like an iPad with a mailing list or a clipboard with a mailing list, whatever it is. Have a way for people to join your mailing list. They can also follow you on social media. I think that is slightly less optimal, but it is also an option. Textiful is a service that lets people text to join your mailing list. Sell your value, not your store. The first time somebody meets you, don't just sell them a CD unless you're really, really good at selling. That's great. But you want to bring people along on your journey. And since you are eventually going to be asking them for money for crowdfunding, I think the journey that we want people to be coming along with is, remember all of this great free stuff I gave you? Yes, you do. So let me continue to give you all of this great free stuff. And then eventually in a couple weeks, or a couple months, or maybe next year, I will ask you for money, whatever your timeline is. So you want one really easily transferable call to action where you do the hard work. So like all this person has to do is text, or all this person has to do is give you their phone number or follow you on Instagram or whatever. This also goes for, by the way, everything you do. Press, podcast, collaboration, pitches, too. Anytime you are trying to get your art out there, you should be, when you write an email, asking for only one answer and no work on their part to get a response. I have a lot of unresponded to emails in my inbox from people who are asking me for things, and the ones that don't get responses are from people who are like, here is a whole bunch of questions. Here is all of my information to look at once. The first email you send just should have one question in it. Something like, what do I need to send you to get my video considered for promotion on my website? Like one question. Or like, would you consider collaborating with me? Or do you have time right now? Or whatever, just like one question. Okay, just figure out what the next step is. And make sure that you are the one doing all the work, because it is, you are the one who are benefiting, right? And you want to get a response back, even if it is a no. Actually, I have a great class that I can share with you about writing good pitch emails. Okay, and with that single ask and single ask in an email rant. That is it for discovery and getting discovered. It is, like I said at the beginning, a very tricky one because there are kind of an infinite list of things you could do and places you could go to tell people about what you do. So I recommend setting yourself a goal of where you want to get to before you launch your project so that you know what your barrier or your success is. And also give yourself some patience and remember that making art is really the goal. So just make some art. That's the fun part. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. See you in the next module.